Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world. Also, we talk to publishers, editors, people who help you get your book published. A majority of our viewers are people who are trying to get their book out there. Also, readers. Readers keep saying, don't forget us. They watch my show so they can figure out what to read next. Now, our next guest is fascinating. I've been reading up on him and about his book. Our guest is Dr. Anthony Hodge. Welcome, Dr. Hodge.
Hey, well, I'm glad to be here with you.
Now, you are where? We just talked about it, but tell our viewers.
I am in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 30-something miles away from Charlotte, North Carolina, and about 65 miles from Columbia, South Carolina.
And they have some sort of women's basketball, college basketball there?
Yeah, the Lady Gamecocks.
Yeah. It's going to be big.
Number one in the nation.
They're in the nation. Wow. That's
Yes.
I'll have to watch for them.
Coach Don Staley is doing a phenomenal job with those ladies.
By the way, I don't know what the weather's like there. Is it snowing, raining?
It's 67 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, sounds like we are right here in California. We're about the same. So, now your book, intriguing title. I'm just going to put it up there. Here's the cover in the back. Can you get better? Well, Dr. Hodge says, sure you can. Tell us about that, Dr. Hodge.
Well, this book actually is, I would say, a labor of love, and it came into existence as a result of a couple of things. First and foremost, I am a proponent of self-help and enhancement, and of the 14 approaches, I can say maybe 90 to 95% of those approaches I have been a recipient of. It centers around three components: mind, body, and soul. I am a retired Navy chaplain, but I'm also a pastor. I, along with my wife, are United Methodist pastors in the annual conference of South Carolina. And I basically, one of the things that I feel led me to this was I, again, have been a recipient of the approaches that are offered, and it's broken down mind, body, and soul. So anyone who seeks to be better, have their lives more in sync, will benefit from what's contained in the book.
Are there secrets in there? 14 points?
Well, I would say no. All of those things that are put within the three sections, again, mind, body, and soul, no secrets. Those things have been out there for a long, long time. I am almost 60, and some of the things that are in there, I got introduced to in my teenage years.
Nice.
And in particular, when I was in the Navy as an enlisted person, I retired as a commissioned chaplain officer, corps officer, but I got introduced to visualization and positive self-talk, positive affirmation.
Yeah.
So those things go way back, and they are still tried and tested and proven to aid anyone who takes full advantage of what's there.
You know, I did this. We have very similar background. I went through this too, in my 20s, and started it, and it was great. I mean, it just the whole idea that I can do, you visualize it, you could do it, you got to believe it, and it can happen. But you can't stop on this path. You always need another book, another source, another thing to look at. And that's why I'm going to get your book, because you're never done, I would say. Well, tell us about that.
Well, again, impetus was the thing that I realized needed to be shared with others, because I can say now, candidly, that I had not always been at this place. There were times in my life early on where I was dealing with areas such as trauma, disappointment. I dealt with issues around anger. I dealt with issues of maybe even not being aware of low self-esteem based upon some of the things that I had encountered early in life. So this is the second of two books. One was A Better You, A Christian Life Beyond Negative Thinking. And this is an ongoing book that I think it's not a one and done. You don't read, can you get better? Sure you can. 14 Approaches Guaranteed to help you and put it down. It is for ongoing life sustainment and enhancement.
Yeah.
And all of the areas can be beneficial to one if they put themselves in the place and be intentional.
Right. And that's the point I wanted to get to is you don't just read it once, you're done, and put it away. It's something you have to work on all the time. And it's helped me. It's got me giant success in life that people thought I never could, reading stuff like this. So I'm glad this book is out because I need a fresh, update. And this will be the good. By the way, I was just looking you up on Amazon. I saw your other book is out there also. So
yes, and that's that book actually helped. It is it basically came into existence as a result of me getting the assistance through counseling, spiritual direction. Also, I have benefited from mentoring, coaching, one-on-one. My mantra is never stop being exposed to something that's going to assist you because we can always be improved. And you never get too old to become better.
Right. I believe that. And I think more, I think this way, you think this way, but what about the guy who's just or girl who's just in a mundane job and they're just chugging along and they don't even have a vision for something better?
Well, one of the case studies, because every area has its 3 sections again: mind, body, and soul. But one of the sections that I think is going to be beneficial is the case study section. Does this stuff really work? And one of the case studies deals with an individual who actually was upbeat. That's one of them. And slowly but surely, because he had been negatively influenced by somebody else, he became not somebody you want to be around. But the case study that comes to mind in terms of what you just offered was a person who had been down. And the case studies are basically examples of persons that I have dealt with in either counseling relationships, spiritual direction relationships, one-on-one, mentoring or coaching. And the case study that I'm referencing, I had a relationship, professional relationship with someone, and I saw this person twice in 2 consecutive meetings, and he was down. It was clear. We didn't get a chance to talk about it in the first encounter, but I intentionally sat by him, and when I found out what was going on, I worked with him in a process where he was able to come to terms with he needed time away from the chaos, the crazy, the stuff that was causing him some stress.
Yeah.
So for the person who says, I'm a little skeptical, I'm cynical about this, give it a try. If you've tried some other things that have not been as effective, I can assure you, and that's why I use the word guaranteed, those approaches are helpful.
Now, by the way, I'm excited to read the book. Are these case studies you talk about in the book?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's the section that I was very intentional about because, again, there'll be some people, I don't know this, but I live this.
Yeah.
I am a product of everything that's been there with the exception of 1 or 2 that I may not have done, but over 96% of the things that are in there, I have been on the receiving end, and I have aided people through my role as a chaplain or as a local church pastor in all of those areas. So the question is, does it work? Absolutely. And I've not used personal names, but everything that's proposed here is tried and tested.
I'm excited.
Either for me or other people that I've worked with.
Yeah, I'm excited to read the case study part. I'm kind of a nerd and like to read it and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that part of the book because a lot of these self-help books are kind of pie in the sky. If you do this, this will happen. But let's hear about when it did happen, the real success stories. I'd like that. Got any you could tell us about besides the one you just told us about?
Let me see.
We don't want to give away the book, We don't want to do a spoiler.
Let me see. The one that jumps out at me that made the greatest impact was an individual. Got it. I'm military, right? Retired. Yes. There was this individual who went to a reunion, right? Navy, so we had ships reunion.
Yeah.
He showed up. He had been a character, so to speak. in his younger days. But this reunion, he shows up. Doesn't say anything about transformation, just shows up. He was one who had a very colorful vocabulary. And so everybody was just looking for him to continue with that. Vocabulary changed, very positive. No longer took advantage of the drinks or whatever that was being offered. Just there, but didn't say anything to anybody else. So what he did was he was basically living his life with shipmates, was not trying to change them, but as a result of who he had become, they said, man, what happened to this guy? Yeah. He never said anything until like the reunion, 2 or 3 days beyond the reunion, and people began to get contact with him. And he contacted them and said, wow, I'm different now, okay? Yeah. But you all are still my shipmates. And what I've been privy to, it's available to you too. Right. So I appreciate that. And he didn't put anybody down for what they were doing and where they were. He just says, I will show you who I am based upon what you see. So he walked the walk. You've
kind of answered this one question I have for you, but I always try to ask it.
Go ahead.
Who needs this book? Who should read this book?
Anyone who is either at a place where they feel like there's got to be better for me. The individual who may have been hurt spiritually, emotionally, the one who's striving to become better, or they want their life to be in a different space and have tried other alternatives. This book can aid them. And even the person who's doing well, every day they have a smile on their face. Well, because we all have to continue to look at mind, body, and soul, work on our physical, work on our emotional, and work in the spiritual realm. And that doesn't specifically have to be a particular faith. It is whatever it is that you are feeling led that will give you your ultimate aim at something beyond yourself.
You know, it just clicks in my head, just the things you're saying, is I'm always preaching to people on how, if you do this or this in your life, it could be different. To my kids and my father, my father said, come on, Mike, when are you going to get a real job, that kind of thing. It seems like the answer to all that is give someone Dr. Anthony Hodge's book.
Yes, sir.
Because that other perspective, from parent to child, sometimes it just doesn't ring. And there is, hesitant. But I think this would be a great book. I've got people in my mind already I'm going to give this book to.
Well, pass it on. And the one thing that I can say, look, we are all works in progress. I did not get to this space overnight. Yeah. I mean, I'm almost 60 now, but really, to be perfectly honest, it has taken me daggone 40, 50 years to finally find this place. And I am thankful that God has given me this chance. So for the person who may not be there yet, you have a relative who may need or could benefit from this. That also could be an opportunity for them to expand. It can be read as a family study. It can be dealt with small groups, whether in a faith perspective or even as a book study in a community.
By the way, here's the cover. Can you get better? Can they, Dr. Hodge?
Absolutely. Sure you can.
Sure you can. Now, I say this every once in a while, not with all the books on our show, but I will say with this one to our viewers, go and wherever you order your books, I get mine on Amazon because it's so easy. You press a button, it shows up at my house. Don't press a button once. Order 5 of these things and give them away. This is a kind that really, I think, could help a lot of people. And
thank you.
Even successful people, right?
Absolutely, because we can always improve.
Yeah.
Improvement is something that we should continue to seek to evolve ourselves into that better place.
Dr. Hodge,
never get stagnant.
I could talk to you all day. You're the kind of person I like to talk to. They don't let me do that. But do you have any last thoughts for our viewers?
My last thought is this. Everything that's in the book is tried and tested. No one, if they earnestly delve into it, will leave that book and not be impacted in a positive way. It is a game changer.
One more thought. What would our viewers find at DrAnthonyHodge.com? I've got that web address on the screen.
Yes, sir.
What would our viewers find there if they go visit?
Well, it's my initial attempt to have a presence in social media. It will showcase both books, A Better You, Christian Life Beyond Negative Thinking. Plus, it will highlight the most recent book, Can You Get Better? Sure you can. 14 approaches guaranteed to help you become a better you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Hodge. I want to have you back again because I really like talking to you.
Be glad to come on.
All
Thanks
right.
for the opportunity.
For our viewers, don't go anywhere. We will have more authors right after this.